Hi, my name is Nicholas. Welcome to this week's Hatha practice. For props, nothing too specific, but I suggest having a couple hard blocks and a soft block nearby. When you're ready, I'll invite you to get started in child's pose for today, but check in and see if there's a different shape you'd rather begin in, then go for it. If you're coming to child's pose, you can just take your time to set yourself up however you like. Maybe knees together or further apart. If you like any props, maybe soft block between hips and heels. If you like to have a hard block nearby in case you want to rest the forehead onto it. And slowly let the chest lower towards the floor. Maybe a little movement to help yourself settle in. And you can start to find your stillness when you feel ready. And if at any point something in this expression stops working for you, then feel free to change it up and find something that feels a little more comfortable, a little more steady. As you find your stillness, start to notice your breath here. And with each inhale breath, starting to explore a sense of space, a sense of weightlessness. And with each exhale, a sense of heaviness, a sense of grounding. And gently inviting the breath to get deeper as you feel ready to. And before we start to move the body here, take a moment to check in. Notice if there are any parts of the body that need a little extra attention today. Check in with your energy level. And if at any point you need to come to stillness, you can come and find this or any other quiet shape. You're also welcome to modify and make the practice whatever you need it to be today. You're welcome to build on and add on. You're welcome to take it easy or slower. Be wherever you need to be. And only when you feel ready to, you can extend the arms out in front, plug the hands to the floor, and then pull the body up to a tabletop position. Knees roughly under the hips, hands roughly under the shoulders. You can work with palms flat, or if it works better to have fists to the floor, then go for that. And starting to flex the spine with cat-cow. As you inhale, let the belly sag down, lift the heart space, the gaze, the tailbone. And then as you exhale, bring the chin in towards the chest and dome the upper back. Inhale, release the front body, lengthen it. And exhale, press the hands down and dome the back. And then keep going with your breath at your pace. You can speed it up or slow it down. You can add on any extra movement that you need. As you flow here with your breath, if you like, you can start to find that slight whisper quality for the breath through the back of the throat. And just a gentle engagement for your Ujjayi breath. And we're here for a few more rounds. If you did add something with two sides, just make sure you feel even on both. And last inhale. And with your exhale, returning to your tabletop. We'll send the hips towards the heels and come and find a kneeling position. If for any reason this doesn't work for you, then feel free to swing the legs around and find a seat instead. And reach the left arm out in front and then across the body, and then hook the right arm underneath it. Start to guide the left arm a little closer. Find that nice stretch to the outside of the left shoulder, and mindful that it's a pain-free expression. If you find that the left shoulder is shrugging high, see what it feels like to lower it down. You might find a better stretch there. And then take a few deep breaths here. And then gently release this side. Maybe give the arm a little shake out, and then we'll do the other side. So right arm out to the side and then across the body. Left arm hooks under. Right shoulder stays low. Find that stretch to the outside of the right shoulder. And then let the side go as well. Give the arms, the shoulders a little movement, whatever they need. And then when you're ready, we'll bring the hands back down to the floor. Spread the fingers nice and wide. You might have the hands slightly forward of the shoulders here. And start to grip the finger pads into the floor, and then tuck the toes, lift the knees, and we'll press the hips up and back for downward facing dog. It'll probably feel good to pedal out the heels a little bit here and take a moment to check in with the back lines of the legs. When you're ready, you can come and find your stillness. You might keep a gentle or generous bend to the knees. Keep the hands actively pressing into the floor. Let the head hang nice and heavy here. Find your breath. And from your down dog, take a deep inhale. And a deep sigh. And twice more. Last one. Now inhale, bend the knees, look forward. As you exhale, start to walk the feet towards the hands and come to find your forward fold. If you need a more supportive version, you can bring your heart blocks in, one for each hand. You can also have the knees bent as much as you need to make this feel better for the low back. A little movement might feel nice to help you set up, maybe a sway of the torso side to side. Maybe some circling with the neck or nodding. And whatever arm expression you've chosen is fine. If you'd like to interlace the hands behind the back, then go for it. You might start by bringing the hands to the small back, or you might interlace, maybe extend the arms. So see what expression the shoulders like for right now and find that. And even here, if you like a little movement or rocking, feel free to add that in. Whatever your expression ends up looking like, take a moment to notice the soles of the feet. You notice where your weight is here. You might see if you can balance that out, especially if the weight is more in the toes or more in the heels. See if you can find a balance between the two. And even here with your breath, that sense of weightlessness with each inhale and that grounding with each exhale. If the arms are overhead, you can let them go when you feel ready. Bring the hands maybe to the legs. With an inhale breath, come and find your halfway lift and lengthen. And with your exhale, sigh and fold in. And twice more. Inhale. And exhale. Last one. Inhale, halfway lift. And pause here, exhale. And flat back with your inhale, walk the hands all the way up the legs, slowly come all the way up to stand. You can reach the arms up towards the ceiling. And pause here for as long as you need. If you feel lightheaded, you're welcome to come halfway back down, maybe breathe for a few rounds, or you can keep the arms lifted. And take a moment to soften the shoulders here. And take a moment to check in with the feet, really anchor them into the floor. And then with an inhale, reach a little higher. As you exhale, twist towards the right and bring the arms to a T. Inhale, breath, reach up and over to the left. And two more each side. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, exhale. One more each. Inhale, breath, reach tall. And with your exhale, hinge forward to your forward fold. Halfway lift and lengthen. And then plant your palms and step to plank pose, top of a push-up. Knees can lower if you want something more supportive. Either way, the hands stay active, pressing into the floor. If the knees are lifted, keep the feet active as well. And take a deep inhale breath here. And with your exhale, lower all the way down to the belly. We'll take 3 rounds of Cobra so you can untuck the toes. Inhale, breath, lift the heart space any amount. And exhale, lower it down. And twice more. Last one. And then inhale, press to tabletop. And tuck the toes, lift the knees. Find your downward facing dog. And pausing for a few breaths, stillness, or any movement that feels good. Awesome. From your down dog, as you're ready, with an inhale, lift the left leg up behind you. And with your exhale, step the left foot forward between the hands. And we'll keep the back knee lifted, but spin the right heel to the floor. Right toes point towards the right. So setting up like a warrior two stance with the legs, and start to walk your hands off the top right corner of the mat, reaching the hands as far as you can. And you can also use your blocks if the floor feels a little far away. Now back out of the hips slightly, so bring the hips back in space, and then see if that allows you to dip the torso a little more towards the floor. So upper body almost like a downward facing dog. You can keep the hands active so that the shoulders stay stable, and find your breath here. All right. If the hands are extended out, you can start to walk them back in and locate one of your heart blocks, maybe on the highest setting, bring it kind of near the left heel, and then start to ground down from here. Move the hips to the midline, start to reach the right arm up towards the ceiling, and then adjust anything you need in your stance. So if it feels like you're in a little too deep, you can back yourself out. If the hips are still back in space, you might explore bending a little deeper into that front knee. And keep the back foot really active here. Keep the front foot grounding down. Top arm can reach towards the ceiling or maybe towards the front of the room. And gaze can be wherever it feels the most comfortable. And find your breath here. All right, stay here. Take one last inhale. With your exhale, you can bring the right hand down, maybe also to a block. And then start to walk your hands back towards that right foot. The left leg can extend and spin the right foot out a little bit. Start to bend into the right knee, and we'll come to find a side lunge, Skandasana. So almost like a squat for the right leg, left leg is extended, and then see what this shape feels like here. So for some people, it's necessary to lift the right heel up off the floor. So that's fine if that's you, and you can also support yourself by adding a block there. If the heel's grounded, that's fine too. Maybe your weight needs to be a little further forward if it feels like you're falling back. Hands can stay down the whole time. Just mindful of the left knee for a moment. So if it feels like it's hyperextending or it's locked, then maybe keep a slight bend. Keep that left heel grounding down as well. And then find your breath here. You can bring your blocks along for support. Slowly lift the hips a little bit, rebend the left knee, and then walk your hands towards the top of the mat. Come to frame the front foot. And then from here, we'll step the back foot forward and then come and find a toe squat. So you can start to bend the knees out in front, coming to balance on the ball of each foot. And make sure that this works for you. If you'd rather be in the more traditional squat shape, then go for that instead. And if knees together works fine, if it feels better to have the knees a little wider, then choose whatever feels the best for your body. Hands can stay down the whole time. To challenge the balance further, maybe you bring the hands to prayer. You could also play with closing down the eyes. Just make sure you have clear space behind you, so if you need to roll out, you can. And find your breath here. Expansive inhales and grounding exhales. All right. And from here, we're going to head up to standing. So if you'd rather come through a forward fold, you can. If you want to challenge the balance a little further, start to press whatever parts of the feet are touching into the floor. See if you can make it all the way up. And then if anything needs a little shake out, go for it. And come and find your mountain pose, your stillness for a few breaths. And set up the feet. You can lift and spread the toes, lower them down. Maybe give your body a slight rock front and back. Find that place where the weight can balance between the toes and the ball or heel of each foot. As the feet ground down, the spine lengthens, the shoulders soften, and palms can face in or towards the front. See what feels best. And take a moment to lengthen that back line of the neck. Maybe the chin can soften towards the throat. And take a scan through the body just to notice. And bring your awareness to the soles of the feet, noticing how they connect to the floor. And with an inhale breath, circle the arms up towards the ceiling. And then with your exhale, twist towards the right and bring the arms to a T. Inhale, center. And to the left. Moving nice and slow, 2 more full rounds. One more each side. Inhale, reach up. And hinge forward, forward fold. Halfway lift to lengthen. And plant the palms and step to plank pose. Knees lifted or lowered, take a moment to set. Ground down. And then a deep inhale. And lower all the way down to the belly. Untuck the toes, find your back bend as you inhale. And soften with your exhale. 2 more rounds. And then inhale, come up to your tabletop position. And you tuck the toes, lift the knees, find your downward facing dog. We'll take about 8 breaths here, so you can choose stillness. If you'd rather find child's pose, then go for it. And if there's a different shape altogether that you need, then find that instead. And from your down dog, if you're with me, then keep the hands pressing the floor away, keep the feet anchoring into the floor as well. And find a heaviness wherever you can. And soften anything you don't need. And if you're somewhere other than down dog, you can join me when you're ready. With an inhale, lift the right leg up behind you. And then as you exhale, step the right foot forward between the hands, spin the left heel down to the floor. So setting up the warrior 2 legs, front foot pointing towards the front, back foot out towards the side. And then you can start to walk your hands off the top left corner and see what the side feels like here. And again, you might back out of the legs just enough that you can let the torso dip towards the floor a little further. Find your breath, find your stretch here. All right, slowly start to walk the hands back in. Now find your block and bring it to that right heel just inside. Now start to ground down with that right hand. Start to press the hips towards midline and reach the left arm up towards the ceiling for your extended side angle. You can mirror whatever you did on the first side, but if you need to modify here, maybe elbow to thigh or a different height setting for your block, then go for it. Left arm can reach up or maybe up and over. But notice if the left shoulder is creeping towards the left ear, see if you can keep a little bit of space there. And keep the feet really anchored to the floor and breathe here. And stay here. Take one last inhale. And with your exhale, bring the left hand down, find your other block. And you can start to walk the hands towards the back of the mat, extending the right leg towards straight, spinning the left heel towards the floor, left toes out behind, start to bend into the left knee. And this side may feel a little different to the first side, so it's okay if it doesn't match completely. If the left heel needs to lift, you can support it if you like. Make sure the right knee is not locking. Hands can stay down, maybe find your balance here, find your breath. If the hands are lifted, bring them down, and then slowly crawl yourself into a lunge facing the front of the room. And stepping the left foot forward, and we'll find toe squat once again. So starting to bend the knees, and if it's okay in your body, find the opposite expression of whatever you did before. So if the knees were together last time, maybe explore taking them wide and vice versa. Of course, if you need to do one or the other, then go for it. Yeah, see if you need any other supports here. Take a moment to lengthen the spine, especially if you're upright. Find a little softness for the shoulders. Maybe hands to prayer or to blocks. Maybe you're playing with closing down the eyes. But prioritize the breath over whatever the body looks like. So find a shape where you can still breathe those long, deep inhales and exhales. All right, we're going to head to standing, so maybe through a forward fold, or maybe you want to bring the heels down first. Otherwise, if you're with me, start to press the feet to the floor, come all the way up. Anything that needs a shake out, go for it. And then come and find your mountain pose and your stillness as you're ready. If the eyes are closed, you can flutter them open, wiggle the fingers and the toes. Maybe give the head a roll side to side. Awesome. So on your mat, we're going to play with the balance shape, and we're not going to do this as part of a sequence. If you want to be close to a wall, then go for it. And then start off, lift and spread the toes, lower them down, a little distance between each one. Maybe a slight rock forward and back, really connect the soles of each foot into the floor. And then ground down through the right foot, come onto the left tippy toes, and spin the left knee out towards the left. So setting for tree pose, you can stay right here. If you want something more challenging, then bring the left foot to connect to the inside of the right leg, and you can connect it wherever you like. Generally, we avoid the knee if there's sensitivity there, but just listen to your body. And then it might feel like the left foot is really pressing into the right leg. So imagine that the right leg is pressing back into the left foot and see if you can find a rebound in the spine. Still keeping those shoulders nice and soft and still keeping your breath going. Arms can be wherever you need them to be. Last 2 breaths. Once you complete your last one, you can let the arms go, you can let the leg go. If the right leg needs a little shake out, then go for it. And take a moment just to check in between sides. Find your mountain pose, maybe close down the eyes. And checking in with the body, just seeing what the 2 sides feel like, where they feel different or the same. Noticing anything that may have come up in that shape. All right, fluttering the eyes, wiggling fingers and toes, and we'll set up for the second side. So left toes lift and spread, really connect the left sole to the floor. Right tippy toes and spin the right knee right. And then mirror whatever expression you did on the first side, but again, listen to your body. Maybe this side needs something a little different. We also have a side that tends to be kind of better at balancing or a little stronger. But again, find that action. So as the right foot presses into the left leg, press the left leg into the right foot. See if that helps you lengthen the spine. Maybe lift the gaze a little bit. Chest stays broad. Arms wherever you like. Most importantly, find your breath here. That lightness, that weightlessness, each inhale. That grounding and heaviness, each exhale. All right, release the arms, release the leg, give everything a little bit of a shake out. And then if you aren't there already, you can step to the top of the mat. And press down the feet with an inhale, reach the arms up. And then twist to the left as you exhale. Inhale, reach. And over to the right. One more each side. One more each side for good measure. Inhale, reach up. And hinge forward, forward fold. Halfway lift. And plant the palms plus the plank pose. Inhale here. And stay for the exhale. One more inhale. And lower all the way down. Untuck the toes, 3 back bends. And then tabletop. And to your downward facing dog. If down dog feels like a restful shape, then great, and you can stay here for about 8 breaths. Otherwise, drop the knees and find child's pose. If you need something more active, you're welcome to flow if that's part of your practice. Or if your body's craving a particular shape, then feel free to take that here. Find your breath wherever you are, stillness or movement.
If you're in child's pose, you can come up to a kneel. If you're in down dog, you can lower the knees to the floor. Coming up as well, and then we'll swing the legs around, bring the hips down towards the floor. We'll set up here for a wide-legged stance, so you can have your props nearby in case they're handy. I'd like to come sit off of the soft block just to elevate the hips a little bit. I find it changes the angles and makes the folds a little more comfortable here as well. And then take your feet as wide apart as you comfortably can, slash would like to. For the first shape, we're going to fold forward here. So just check in. If for any reason this doesn't work for the legs, you're welcome to bring the soles of the feet together and do a butterfly fold instead. So just listen to your body. If there's anything you need to adjust here, if the knees feel like they're locking, you might roll up a blanket underneath, or you can use your blocks. It might feel helpful to scoop the flesh of the bum out of the way as well, better connect the sit bones down. You're welcome to stay upright here the whole time, or if you'd like to come into the fold, you can start to walk the hands forward, hinging from the hips, bringing the chest towards the floor any amount, and then see where you need to pause, listen to your body. Maybe you're feeling this more on the inner legs or through the back body or somewhere else. Just make sure it feels like a pain-free expression. If you like to round through the upper spine, let the head go, then go for it. And your props are nearby, so if you'd like to lower elbows to the floor, maybe that's an option, or maybe the floor is a little far away and you want to use props. Find your stillness in the shape as you're ready. Maybe closing down the eyes, breathing deeply. If you're folded, you can slowly start to walk the hands back in, lifting yourself up. Awesome. Check in for a moment. So we're going to take this over to one side and then fold over a leg. You're welcome to keep the other leg extended the whole time, or if you want to bend the knee in, so do like a half butterfly shape, then you're welcome to do that. It may make the pose feel a little more accessible, so just do whatever you need to do. I'm going to start by twisting over towards the left leg so you can line up maybe the chest with the leg. And then listen to your body here. If this feels like enough and you're stretching into your twist and you don't want to fold, then that's fine too. Otherwise, if you are going to fold, you can start to tiptoe the hands along that right leg and then just listen to your body. One option here is to bring the right hand to the outside of the left leg, and maybe it's going to be the calf, the thigh, maybe the ankle, even the foot. Just make sure that if you are like pulling a bit, that you're not taking yourself deeper than your spine is happy with. So just make sure you're really aware of what's going on there. If you are choosing to take the hand to the opposite leg option, then the other hand, the left hand, you might explore taking it around the low back, maybe over towards the right hip. And just see what this feels like for the shoulders. It could add an extra layer of stretch. If it feels okay to let the head go, then go for it. And breathe deeply here. All right. Slowly start to lift yourself back up. Release the arms, unravel to center. Maybe we'll just take a counter twist over towards the right. Awesome. So this next stretch you can totally skip if you don't want to do it. You're welcome to play along if you like. I'm going to keep both legs extended, but this will be easier with the right leg bent in. So I'll show both versions, but we'll take the right hand down towards the right, and then we're going to press the right hand down, press the feet down, and then see if we can lift the hips up and find a nice side stretch so the left arm will reach up and over. So if you're coming with me, then really press that right hand to the floor, press the feet into the floor, see if you can lift the hips up, and then reach the left arm up and over, maybe towards the ceiling or towards the wall, and take a few deep breaths here. Awesome. And then you can bring that back down, and then recover for a moment, find a couple of deep breaths. Awesome. And then we'll take the twist over to the opposite side to fold. So turning the chest to the direction of the right leg, and choose either to stay upright here, or maybe you're starting to tiptoe the fingers along the leg, gently folding over it. Maybe this feels good. Maybe you want to take the option of left hand somewhere to the outside of the right leg. Maybe the right hand towards the left hip or somewhere else. Find your shape, find your pain-free expression, and breathe deeply into it. With an inhale breath, slowly making your way back up. And then unraveling the spine to center, taking your counter twist, turning towards the left. Awesome. And then for that extra pose, that counter stretch, see what it feels like. Left hand down. Maybe you're bending the left knee in for this one. And then pressing the left hand down, pressing the feet down to the floor, lift the hips as high as you can, reach the right arm up and over any amount, take a few deep breaths here. Left shoulder is really stable. Awesome. And then slowly lower the pelvis back down. You might use the hands for this because we've had them open for a little while. So bring the feet a little bit closer together and then give yourself a nice windshield wiper side to side. Awesome. And when you're ready, you can hop off of your props, swing the legs out towards the front. You can bring your props to the side just so that they're handy when you need them. Scoop the flesh of the bum out of the way, connect the sit bones down, and take a moment to rebound the spine, soften the shrug muscles. So for boat pose, you can stay right here, or you can come onto tippy toe. You can think about lifting the shins up, maybe parallel to the floor, maybe beyond. Option to release the arms as well. Now notice what happens with the breath. If it feels like you're holding it to help yourself hold steady, then maybe release to a previous version so you can still breathe more deeply here. If the forehead's clenching or the jaw or something else, see if you can soften that as well. And then breathe deeply here for a few deep breaths. Awesome. And from here, we're going to lower down onto the back. So you might bring the feet down first. Otherwise, make sure you have clear space behind you. And you can slowly lower the spine down, touch the feet down as well. And then take a moment just to set yourself up. We're going to set up for a back bend for bridge pose. So if you'd like a more restorative version of the shape, then you're welcome to use your hard blocks. When the hips come up, just slide them underneath. Otherwise, if you're coming for the more active shape, maybe set up robot arms, so elbows by the rib cage, fingertips towards the ceiling, feet roughly underneath the knees, and take a moment to really connect the feet into the floor, ground them down, and then pressing the shoulders, the elbows, and the feet with an inhale breath, lift the pelvis up any amount, and then pause here. So check in with the rest of the body. If this is a good place to stay, then go for it. If you want to wriggle the shoulders a little closer together, maybe interlace the arms, then go for that. Mindful that it feels like a pain-free expression, so if being on tippy toes or on heels is better for the knees, then go for that. And breathe here. Awesome. If you need a few more breaths here, you're welcome to stay. Otherwise, if you have the hands interlaced, release them first and then slowly sequence the spine down to the floor. As the pelvis touches down, it might feel nice to take the feet wide and then rest the knees in together, maybe hands somewhere on the body. Only when you feel ready to move again, you can start to heel toe the feet a little bit closer together. And once the feet are underneath the knees, lift the hips up just enough that you can bring your hands underneath them, so palms flat to the floor, and then lower the hips back down. We're going to set up for fish pose, so from here you can extend the legs long down the mat. And then fish pose is a back bend for the upper spine, so think about lifting the chest towards the ceiling. But from here, just like if you wriggled your shoulders a little closer, we're going to bring the elbows a little bit closer now and start to press the forearms into the floor, the hands, the elbows, and then lift the chest up towards the ceiling any amount. For some people, having the head hang back will feel good. For others, touching the top of the head to the floor might feel good. Just make sure that the neck is comfortable and that you're not putting too much pressure on it. And then keep the elbows, the hands, even the heels helping a little bit. Keep everything anchored to the floor. Breathe here. And if the head is back, you might bring the chin in towards the chest first, and then slowly let the elbows come further wide apart so you can lower the spine back down. You can release the arms here, maybe give the body a rock side to side. Maybe it's the feet or the hips, maybe it's the head. Awesome. As you're ready, we'll rebend the knees and set up for a twist. I'm going to talk through a two-knee twist, so if you like to have a block nearby or if you like to take a block between the knees, then go for it. When you're ready, scoot the hips over towards the left and then lower the knees down towards the right. You can add in any extra props that you need here. If you'd like to take the gaze down towards the left, away from the knees, then go for it. And then find the arm expression that feels like the best match. Maybe T-shape or cactus, maybe one arm or both to the floor overhead. If the head is turned, you can bring it back to center. Slowly lift the knees back up to center as well. And then scoot the hips to midline, then over towards the right. Knees down towards the left, maybe the gaze down towards the right. Arms maybe the same shape, or if you need something a little different, then go for it. Maybe you need slightly different props here as well. Feel free to add them in. And then find your breath and your stillness. And bringing the head back up to center, and then bringing the legs back up as well, scooting the hips to midline. It might feel nice to take the feet wide, maybe give yourself a gentle windshield wiper side to side. Awesome. If you're happy with the windshield wiper, you can keep that going. Otherwise, bring the knees into the chest and maybe you can keep the rock going or find your happy baby, any expression of the shape, and maybe you can keep a rock going here as well. And then check in here and see if your body's asking for any last quiet shape or movement, and you're welcome to take that now. And you can be in happy baby for a few more breaths as well. And whenever you feel ready, you can set yourself up for Shavasana. And for your Shavasana today, choose any comfortable symmetrical expression with the body. I'm going to take butterfly legs, so bringing the soles of the feet together and the knees wide apart. So you're welcome to join me here or take any other shape, and maybe using blocks to support the legs if you're in butterfly, or if you need some other props anywhere else in the body, then go for it. And take your time, get nice and comfortable, and then find your stillness as you're ready. And releasing your breath as well, letting it return to its natural inhale and exhale. Find your rest. Gently deepen the breath to reawaken the body. Find some gentle movements here, maybe a rock of the head, movement through the hands, through the feet. If you're in butterfly, you can help the knees together. Maybe choosing feet wide and knees together, or gentle windshield wiper if that feels better. And then when you feel ready, you can roll down to one side wherever you have the most space. Maybe pausing for a breath or two. And then with the support of the arms, slowly making your way up to come and find any comfortable seated position using any of your props. And settle the hips, gently lengthen the spine, soften the shoulders. The hands can stay where they've landed or connect the palms in front of the heart. And take a moment to notice your breath here. Finding that quality of space with each inhale, that quality of grounding with each exhale. Perhaps bringing the chin in towards the chest. And thank you for sharing your breath and your practice today. Namaste. Thank you for joining me for today's yoga practice. And my name is Nicholas. If you have any questions, please reach out and enjoy the rest of your day.